So 2013 came and went, and apparently in some part of that time frame, this happened. Well, it's like my UPS driver always says, better late than never. Halo Spartan Assault. So before I get started, I want to let you know that a colleague of mine who works with me on this site, you've seen her in other videos before, her name is Epsilon, also known as Haley, is going to start doing game reviews starting next month. Don't worry, I'll still be covering the Halo reviews, but I want her to cover other games that are out there so that this can be a one-stop news source for you for all that is gaming. So let's get into it. You're probably wondering, Tyrant, it's the end of 2016, this game came out in 2013, why are you choosing now to do this review? So it's actually kind of a funny story. When this game first came out, I was under the impression that this was for Windows devices only. Now I love my PC, but when it comes to mobile devices, I actually am an Apple guy. So right off the bat, I didn't pay much attention to this game because A, I didn't consider it a AAA title for Halo, and B, I didn't have access to anything that could actually play it. Then one night my bartender, yes, if you can believe it, there was once a time when I was a regular at a bar, he actually has a Windows tablet and he gives it to me and says, hey, there's a new Halo game on it, try it out. Yes, my bartender actually trusted me with his Windows tablet. But I gotta tell you though, when you only have one fully functioning hand, playing a mobile game on a touchscreen isn't all that fun. So I decided to shrug it off. I didn't pay attention to it. But then one day Microsoft sends me an email and says, how would you like a free code for Halo Spartan Assault for Xbox One? What am I gonna say? No, I don't want to play your game for free? So I accepted their offer, and you know what I did? I shelved it. You ever wish you could go back in time and correct a mistake that you think may have had a negative effect on the rest of your life? For me, that was one of those times. I hadn't had a good experience with it before. I'd gotten the vague impression of what it was like and didn't think I wanted to play it all the way through, especially since I didn't think most of my users would care for it. But boy was I wrong. As it turns out, the game is actually a lot of fun. I was going through my old hard drive the other day, saw it on there and said, you know what, we still have a couple of months before Halo Wars 2 comes out, so let's give this a try. And so I did. And I'm going to say right from the get-go that this is a really solid game. The story takes place between the events of Halo 3 and Halo 4 and basically goes into detail about how the events began to unfold and how the Covenant started breaking their ceasefire between them and humanity. And of course you don't play the Master Chief because he's still trapped aboard the Forward unto Dawn somewhere in space, so this time around you play my favorite Spartan and sexy tall lady, Spartan Sarah Palmer. What? I got a thing for tall women. Can you blame me? So your goal in this game is to stop the Covenant assault on a planet called, I believe, Dreyfus 5. And I'm not going to lie to you, the story does have an interesting premise, but the execution was kind of nah. Essentially, all of these stories are being told through a training program that's powered by the UNSC Infinity's AI named Roland. And so you're being told all these things through flashbacks, so every mission that you play has already happened in the Halo universe. And that's an interesting concept, but the execution wasn't quite there. The narrative could have been better in the missions. The cutscenes certainly could have been better. You know, after I played Halo 2 Anniversary and I saw those amazing cutscenes that were done by Blur, I began thinking all Halo games should have this. Yeah, sure, for a while, having the concept of the actual in-game graphics as the cutscenes was a cool gimmick, but we've seen them do better, and we want them to do more of that. That just seems like a lot of potential that could be unlocked for future Halo titles. But still, the premise of the story was interesting. I'd like to hear more details about those battles and that part of the war between Halo 3 and Halo 4. We got to know some of the backstory behind Sarah Palmer, who's also in Halo 4 and Halo 5, and I thought that part was really cool because she is a main character and it's good to see what she's capable of doing, because usually in the other games, she's usually off to the side. We very rarely ever see her in combat, if at all. So props 343 Industries, I wanted to know more about that Spartan and you delivered. But what makes this game good isn't the story, it's the gameplay in and of itself. So the game itself is divided into 6 chapters labeled A through F, and each chapter has 5 individual missions which are each about 5 minutes apiece. Some missions are shorter, some missions are longer, but they average out to around 5 minutes, giving you a campaign of somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours. For a game that's intended for mobile devices, that is actually quite a bit. Even Portal wasn't that long. Granted, that was for PC, but still, that That's impressive for a mobile game. And I'm not gonna lie, the controls definitely do take some getting used to, especially if you're fresh off of a game like Halo 4. Essentially, it's kind of like Halo Wars in the sense that you have a top-down view of everything that's going on, and so you're not aiming like you are in a general first-person shooter, because it's not a first-person shooter. Basically, the way you're facing is the way that you're shooting. So you can't aim at your targets, you have to sort of guesstimate as to where they are and just go with it that way. But surprisingly, they did a great job even with that. You have a very interesting array of weapons that you can use from both the UNSC side and the Covenant side. On the human side, you have the assault rifle, the pistol, and the shotgun. On the Covenant side, you have the plasma pistol, what looks like the plasma repeater from Halo Reach. You've got the needler, you've got the brute shot, and you've got the focus rifle. You can use grenades too, and I'm not quite sure how grenades work in this game. I don't know how they target specific objects, but they do seem to lock on when it comes to a distance. And also, interestingly enough, this game has armor abilities. Now, sometimes we thought that was a bad thing, but they were pretty well executed this time around. They include armor abilities from Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4, plus they've added some new ones in of their own. But what you see in-game isn't necessarily all that you get. This game also has a rec pack system. Now, a lot of you still aren't quite sure what you think of the rec pack system, but it does work here. It doesn't break the game. With this rec pack system, you can actually purchase 3 additional weapons to use in one single mission. This includes the sniper rifle, the Spartan laser, and my personal favorite and the best one, the rocket launcher. Why is it the best one? Because it's automatic rockets. Think machine gun with rockets. The only downside of these weapons is once you run out of ammo, you can't refill them, so use them wisely. Likewise, you can also do this with armor abilities. You can purchase new ones from their system, especially that Seeker drone. That is one badass unit. And you can use them a variety of ways. If you've already beaten Halo 4, the game knows that you've done it through your gamer tag, so you already have free access to some of this stuff. And if you want to purchase more later on, you can either get this through XP, which you can earn in missions by way of points, or you can buy them with credit. And it's not expensive to do that, but it's still a lot easier just to get points in the missions. That's also how you determine what kind of star you get in the missions, whether you get a bronze star, a silver star, or a gold star. And those are achievements that you can look forward to trying to do while you're playing the missions, while you're accomplishing the goals. And it's fun to do that as a side project, even though the missions themselves are fairly diverse in what they do. You got lots of different objectives from one mission to the next, and it's a lot of fun. You will have a lot of fun with this. And the graphics are also amazing considering what kind of game it is. There's a lot of attention to detail, not just to the units that are on the map, which is mostly Spartans and Covenant and UNSC, but also all the stuff that's happening in the background. If you're on a platform, they show you wars that are happening below you, and the detail is fantastic. But one thing that steps it up even further than that is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is on point the entire time. This is something that I can buy and listen to myself while I'm working. It's beautiful. If you haven't checked it out yet, if you haven't listened to the soundtrack, you can actually find it on YouTube in its entirety. It is definitely well worth the listen. But better yet, why not just get the game yourself? If you don't have the game yet, you can check out a link in the description below. I have a full campaign cutscenes run of this game already on this site, so you can check that out if you're not entirely sure yet. Guys, at the end of the day, Halo Spartan Assault was an excellent game. I still don't consider it a Halo game, so to speak, but it is a game that is definitely worth your time. Now, in terms of how I rate this game, normally I would say if this had been sold at a full game price, like $60, it would not be worth the money. But that's not what 343 did. They actually made the price appropriate for what it is. The game is only $5, and to me, the game is actually worth more than $5. I'd even pay up to $10 for it. So good job, 343. Another great judgment call on your part, and I will say that Halo Spartan Assault is worth paying full price, especially now that it's on sale and bundled with Halo Spartan Strike for $5. That's a pretty amazing deal. This is a game I highly encourage you to get. If you want to get it for a mobile device, you can. Personally, I had better experience on it on Xbox One, but it is 2.5 to 3 hours. That is well worth your time. So thanks so much for watching, guys. What did you think of Halo Spartan Assault? Let me know in the comments below, or you can let me know on Facebook and Twitter. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and click that subscribe button for more video game related content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on MythicTyrant.com. Thanks again, guys, and as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.